Uddaka Ramaputta and the question that still remained. Buddha's story. According to the tradition, after Siddhartha learned the deep meditation taught by Alara Kalama, he still had not found the complete end of suffering. He did not reject that teaching, and he did not treat that stillness lightly. He had truly learned something precious. Yet he also saw honestly that the peace he had reached was not the final answer. So Siddhartha left once again and went to another teacher, Uddaka Ramaputta, who was known for an even more subtle and refined meditative path. But even at the edge of that high attainment, one final question still remained in Siddhartha's heart. Today's story begins after Siddhartha left Alara Kalama and continued walking the path of seeking. The peace he had experienced was not small. Through deep meditation, the noise of the world had grown distant. The movements of thought had become quiet, and the mind had entered a stillness far beyond ordinary rest. For many people, such a state might have seemed like the end of the path. To be recognized by a teacher, to reach a high meditative state, and to be invited to remain would have been enough for many seekers. But Siddhartha was not looking for honor, and he was not searching for a place where he could simply belong. His question was deeper than that. He wanted to know whether there was a path that could truly lead beyond aging, sickness, death, and sorrow. If a state of peace passed away, then it could not be the final freedom he was seeking. If suffering returned when the mind came out of stillness, then the root of suffering had not yet been fully understood. So he went on. According to the tradition, Siddhartha then came to Uddaka Ramaputta. This teacher was connected with a very refined level of meditation, a state even more subtle than the one Siddhartha had already learned. It was not a path of ordinary silence. It was a path that led the mind beyond coarse thought, beyond rough desire, and into a very delicate experience, where even the usual sense of being and not being became difficult to describe. To someone outside the practice, all deep meditation may look the same. A person sits quietly, the body becomes still, words become few, but within the inner world of practice, there are many layers of quiet. Some forms of stillness are simple and restful. Others are vast and refined. Still others are so subtle that ordinary language can barely reach them. Siddhartha listened and learned. He did not come as a proud man who thought he already knew enough. Even though he had already reached a high state under Alara Kalama, he approached this new teaching with seriousness. A true seeker does not cling to the pride of yesterday's attainment. If there is something still to learn, he learns. If there is a deeper place to look, he looks. Siddhartha's strength was not only his ability to reach deep states, but also his honesty before what was still unfinished. The tradition says that Siddhartha learned Uddaka Ramaputta's teaching very quickly. He trained the mind further, entered more subtle states of meditation, and came to the very high attainment connected with this path. The movements of ordinary thought became faint. The weight of the world seemed far away. The mind entered a place where the usual boundaries of experience felt almost dissolved. For many ascetics, this would have been a place to stop. Such a state was rare. It was difficult. It was respected. To reach it meant that the practitioner had gone far beyond ordinary life and ordinary pleasure. Many people might have thought, this is the highest peace. This must be liberation. Perhaps even Siddhartha paused before the greatness of that experience. He was not blind to its value. He could see that this was not a shallow teaching. It required discipline, focus, and a mind trained with great care. He knew that this path had depth, and he knew that the teacher had given him something powerful. But still, the question did not disappear. Was this the end? Was this complete freedom? Could this truly free all beings from suffering? Siddhartha looked carefully, not with disrespect, but with deep honesty. The state was very high, but it was still a state. It depended on conditions. It could be entered, and it could be left. While one remained in it, the mind was peaceful and refined, but the great facts of life had not vanished. Aging still remained. Sickness still remained. Death still remained. The sorrow of separation still remained. The roots of craving, clinging, and ignorance had not yet been fully seen and ended. This was the point that Siddhartha could not ignore. A refined experience is not the same as liberation. A high meditative state is not the same as the complete ending of suffering. To rise above the noise of the world for a time is beautiful, but it is not the same as understanding why suffering begins and how it can finally cease. That difference may seem small from the outside, but for Siddhartha it was everything. He had already left the palace. He had already left his family with a heart full of love and pain. He had already sent Channa and Kanthaka back, cut his hair and beard, and walked away from the name and form of a prince. He had not taken those steps only to rest in a beautiful state of peace. He was looking for a truth deep enough to answer the suffering of all beings. So once again, Siddhartha did not remain. He did not reject Uddaka Ramaputta with anger. He did not look down on the teaching. He had gone to the end of what was offered and seen its greatness. But he had also seen its limit. Because of that, he chose to continue. Sometimes the deepest respect for truth requires a person to leave even a good and noble place. Not because it is useless, but because the heart knows there is still farther to go. This moment in the tradition is quiet, but very important. It shows that Siddhartha was not easily satisfied, even by spiritual success. He was not chasing experiences only because they were peaceful or impressive. He was searching for the end of suffering itself. If something was beautiful but incomplete, he would honor it and move on. If something was high but not final, he would not pretend it was enough. In our own lives, we may also meet moments like this. We may learn something good. We may reach a place that once seemed impossible. We may receive praise, recognition, or a sense of peace. And yet, somewhere deep inside, a quiet question may remain. Is this truly the end of my search? Or is there still something deeper calling me forward? That question can feel uncomfortable. It can make us restless when we want to settle. It can seem ungrateful when we have already received something precious. But sometimes that question is not a problem. Sometimes it is the voice of honesty. It reminds us not to confuse temporary peace with complete freedom, or a high place with the final truth. This is how the story of Siddhartha's learning with Uddaka Ramaputta quietly comes to a close. He had reached a very high state, and yet he still saw that the path was not finished. He had learned deeply, but he did not mistake learning for the end. The final question remained, and that question gently pushed him toward the next stage of the journey. May we also learn to honor every true lesson we receive, without forcing ourselves to call it complete before the heart is ready. And when a quiet question remains within us, may we listen with courage, patience, and peace.